Imagine this. Two entrepreneurs launch nearly identical businesses on the same day. They sell similar products, target the same customers, and even spend the same amount on marketing. A year later, one of them is barely surviving, constantly chasing new customers and lowering prices just to stay in business. The other has a waiting list of clients, charges premium prices without apology, and makes more money than he ever imagined. So what made the difference? It wasn't luck. It wasn't a better product, and it certainly wasn't because one worked harder than the other. The real difference was something most entrepreneurs completely overlook: their offer. According to Alex Hormozi, people don't buy the best products. They buy the offers that give them the greatest perceived value. Think about it. Every single day, millions of people willingly pay more for Starbucks instead of making coffee at home. They spend thousands of dollars on an iPhone, even though cheaper smartphones can perform many of the same tasks. They choose premium airlines, luxury hotels, and expensive brands despite having lower-cost alternatives. Why? Because customers aren't comparing products. They're comparing the value they believe they'll receive. That's the central idea behind $100 offers, one of the most influential business books of the last decade. In this book, Alex Hormozi explains how he transformed struggling businesses into companies generating millions of dollars, not through clever advertising tricks or aggressive sales tactics, but by designing offers so compelling that customers felt saying no would be a bigger mistake than saying yes. The exciting part is that these principles don't only apply to billion-dollar companies. Whether you're a freelancer, coach, consultant, content creator, online seller, agency owner, or someone dreaming about starting a business someday, these ideas can completely change how you think about selling. Because the truth is simple. Most businesses don't fail because their products are bad. They fail because customers don't clearly see why those products are worth buying. And that's a huge difference. Imagine someone trying to sell you a drill. Most salespeople will tell you about the motor, the battery life, the materials, and the warranty. But you don't actually want a drill. You want perfectly placed shelves in your living room. You want your house to look better. You want to feel proud every time friends come over. The drill is just the tool. People always buy the outcome, not the product itself. This single idea can completely change how you market anything. Successful entrepreneurs don't ask themselves, "How can I sell this product?" Instead, they ask, "How can I make the result so attractive that buying becomes the obvious decision?" Throughout this video, you'll discover why lowering your prices is often the fastest way to destroy your business. How to create offers customers struggle to refuse, why perceived value matters more than actual cost, and the exact mindset that separates ordinary businesses from million-dollar companies. By the end, you'll never look at pricing, marketing, or selling the same way again. So if you want to learn one of the most valuable business skills in the world, the ability to create offers that practically sell themselves, make sure you stay until the end. And if you're passionate about entrepreneurship, financial freedom, and life-changing books that can completely transform the way you think, don't forget to subscribe. Every week, we break down the world's best books into practical lessons you can apply immediately. Now, let's begin with the biggest mistake almost every entrepreneur makes, and why even amazing products often fail. Most entrepreneurs believe that if sales are slow, the solution is simple: improve the product or lower the price. At first, that sounds logical. If people aren't buying, making your product cheaper should attract more customers, right? The problem is that this strategy almost always starts a race to the bottom. Imagine you own a small coffee shop. A competitor across the street lowers the price of every coffee by $1. You respond by lowering yours as well. Then another cafe opens nearby and drops prices even further. Before long, everyone is making less money. Customers are buying based only on price, and nobody is building a stronger business. This happens in almost every industry, Photographers compete by charging less. Designers compete by charging less. Consultants compete by charging less. Online stores compete by offering bigger discounts. Eventually, nobody wins. Hormozi argues that the moment you compete on price, you've already lost. Why? Because there will almost always be someone willing to charge less than you. Someone with lower expenses. Someone willing to accept smaller profits. Someone desperate enough to undercut everyone else. If price is your only advantage, your business becomes fragile. Instead of asking, "How can I be cheaper?" successful entrepreneurs ask a completely different question. How can I become impossible to compare? Think about companies like Apple. Their products aren't the cheapest. In fact, they're often among the most expensive. Yet millions of customers happily buy them year after year. Apple doesn't compete on price. It competes on design, simplicity, brand, ecosystem, customer experience, and trust. Customers don't compare an iPhone with every phone on the market based solely on hardware specifications. They're buying an experience. That's exactly what Hormozi wants entrepreneurs to understand. Your goal isn't to create a cheaper product. Your goal is to create an offer so valuable that price becomes a secondary consideration. Let's imagine two personal trainers. The first one advertises personal coaching for $100 per month. That's all. The second trainer says, "I'll create a personalized nutrition plan, a customized workout program, weekly progress reviews, unlimited messaging support, healthy recipes, habit tracking, accountability check-ins, and if you don't lose measurable body fat in your first 8 weeks, I'll continue coaching you for free until you do." Suddenly, the conversation changes. The customer isn't asking, "Why is this more expensive?" They're asking, "How could I possibly get all of this somewhere else?" That's the power of a great offer. Notice something important. The second trainer didn't necessarily become better at fitness. He became better at packaging value. And that's a skill anyone can learn. Another mistake entrepreneurs make is believing that customers buy logically. In reality, people justify purchases with logic, but they make decisions emotionally. Think about buying a car. Very few people choose a car because of horsepower alone. They imagine how they'll feel driving it, how their family will enjoy it, how comfortable the seats are, how safe they'll feel. The same applies to every business. People don't buy courses. They buy confidence. They don't buy financial coaching. They buy peace of mind. They don't buy skincare products. They buy the feeling of looking younger and more attractive. The product is only the vehicle. The transformation is what people truly want. That's why great entrepreneurs spend far more time understanding their customers than improving tiny details of their product. They ask questions like, "What keeps my customer awake at night? What are they afraid of? What frustrates them every day? What would success look like for them?" Because the better you understand your customer's problems, the easier it becomes to create an offer that feels tailor-made for them. And this leads us to one of the most important concepts in the entire book. Hormozi says that the value of an offer isn't determined by what it costs you to create. It's determined by what it's worth in the customer's mind. In other words, perception creates value. That's exactly why two businesses can sell almost identical products at completely different prices, and both can be successful. The difference isn't the product. The difference is how much value the customer believes they're receiving. So the next question becomes obvious. If value is based on perception, how do you dramatically increase that perceived value? That's exactly what we'll explore next through one of the most powerful ideas in the entire book, the value equation. Now we arrive at the core idea of the entire book. If you understand this concept, you'll never look at selling the same way again. Alex Hormozi calls it the value equation. According to him, every buying decision happens because customers unconsciously ask themselves one simple question: is what I'm about to receive worth more than what I'm about to give up? If the answer is yes, they buy. If the answer is no, they walk away. It sounds simple, but here's what most entrepreneurs get wrong. They believe value is determined by the amount of work they put into a product. Customers don't see it that way. Imagine two chefs spend 3 hours preparing different meals. One serves a simple sandwich, the other serves a gourmet dinner at a 5-star restaurant. Both worked for the same amount of time. Would you expect both meals to cost the same? Of course not. People don't pay for effort. They pay for perceived value. This is why some consultants earn $50 an hour, while others charge $5,000 for a single day. The difference isn't necessarily intelligence, it's the value customers believe they'll receive. Hormozi explains that perceived value depends on 4 factors. If you improve these 4 areas, your offer instantly becomes more attractive. The first factor is the dream outcome. Every customer has a picture in their mind of the future they want. A business owner wants more profit. A student wants better grades. Someone who goes to the gym wants confidence, energy, and an attractive body. Nobody wakes up excited to buy software, coaching, or supplements. They wake up wanting a better life. The clearer and more exciting the destination, the more valuable the journey becomes. That's why the world's best marketers don't sell features. They sell transformation. Nike doesn't sell shoes. It sells performance. Airbnb doesn't sell rooms. It sells unforgettable travel experiences. Tesla doesn't just sell electric cars. It sells innovation, status, and a vision of the future. Your customers don't care about every detail of your product. They care about what their lives will look like after using it. The second factor is pronti. Even if people desperately want the result, they'll hesitate if they aren't convinced they'll actually achieve it. Think about the last time you ordered something online. Before buying, what did you probably do? You checked the reviews, you looked at ratings. Maybe you watched YouTube videos. You searched for customer testimonials. Why? Because proof reduces uncertainty. The more evidence people see, the safer they feel. That's why successful businesses constantly collect testimonials, before and after photos, case studies, success stories, and guarantees. Every piece of proof increases confidence, and confidence increases sales. The third factor is time. Human beings hate waiting. Imagine someone offered you $1 million. Option A, you receive it today. Option B, you receive exactly the same amount in 10 years. Almost everyone chooses today. The value hasn't changed, only the waiting time has. That's exactly why speed is so valuable in business. Customers pay extra for overnight shipping. They pay more for express lanes at amusement parks. They pay premium prices for software that saves hours of work every week. The faster you help someone reach their goal, the more valuable your offer becomes. But sometimes, you can't make the final result arrive faster. If you're teaching someone a new language, they won't become fluent overnight. If you're helping someone build muscle, it will still take months. So what can you do? Create quick wins. Give customers small victories early in the process. Show them measurable progress. Help them feel improvement within the first few days, instead of the first few months. When people experience progress, they stay motivated, and motivated customers are far more likely to continue. The fourth and final factor is effort and sacrifice. People naturally look for the easiest path, not because they're lazy, but because our brains are designed to conserve energy. Imagine 2 ways to learn a new skill. The first requires reading 500 pages, watching dozens of lectures, and figuring everything out yourself. The second provides a simple step-by-step roadmap, ready-made templates, checklists, and personal guidance. Which one sounds more attractive? The second. Every single time. That's why companies spend billions of dollars making products simpler. Amazon reduced shopping to 1 click. Netflix removed late fees and complicated rentals. Uber eliminated the need to search for taxis or negotiate prices. Every successful innovation removes friction. The easier you make success for your customer, the more valuable your offer becomes. Now put these 4 pieces together. Increase the dream outcome. Increase certainty. Reduce the time it takes to see results. Reduce the effort required. That's how you create an offer people struggle to refuse. Notice something fascinating. None of these principles require inventing a revolutionary product. You don't always need to work harder. Often, you simply need to redesign the experience your customer has from the moment they discover your offer until they achieve their desired result. And that's exactly where most million-dollar businesses separate themselves from everyone else. Understanding the value equation is only half the battle. The next step is knowing how to use it to create an offer that customers simply can't ignore. Most entrepreneurs start by asking, "What should I sell?" Hormozi believes that's the wrong question. The better question is, "What problems can I eliminate?" Every customer is trying to move from where they are today to where they want to be. But between those 2 points are dozens of obstacles. If you can remove those obstacles one by one, your offer becomes dramatically more valuable. Let's imagine someone wants to start an online business. At first, it sounds simple, but when you look closer, you realize they're facing a long list of challenges. They don't know what business to start. They don't know how to find customers. They're afraid of failing. They don't understand marketing. They don't know how to build a website. They don't know how to create content. They're overwhelmed by information. And perhaps the biggest obstacle of all, they don't believe they can actually succeed. Most businesses solve only one of these problems. Great businesses solve as many as possible. That's why the best offers feel complete. Instead of selling a course, they sell a complete success system. Instead of selling a fitness program, they sell coaching, meal plans, accountability, progress tracking, community support, and motivation. The customer feels like every possible obstacle has already been anticipated. And that's incredibly powerful. Think about buying furniture from IKEA. Technically, you're buying a table, but in reality, you're also accepting hours of reading instructions, searching for tools, tightening screws, and hoping you didn't assemble it backwards. Now imagine another company delivers the exact same table, but they also assemble it inside your home. Remove the packaging, clean everything afterward, and guarantee that if anything goes wrong, they'll fix it for free. The table didn't change, the experience did. And most people would happily pay more for that experience. That's exactly how premium offers are built. They remove friction. Hormozi encourages entrepreneurs to brainstorm every possible reason a customer might fail, then create solutions before those problems ever happen. Let's say you're teaching people how to invest. What stops beginners? Confusing financial terminology, fear of losing money, information overload, not knowing where to begin, lack of confidence. Now imagine your program includes a beginner roadmap, a glossary of financial terms, a simple investing checklist, monthly market updates, live coaching sessions, and a private community where beginners can ask questions every day. Suddenly, your offer isn't just education. It's confidence. It's guidance. It's support. It's momentum. That's what customers actually value. Another powerful lesson from the book is that bonuses shouldn't feel like random gifts. Every bonus should remove another obstacle. Imagine you're selling a public speaking course. A week bonus might be a free ebook. A valuable bonus could be a confidence-building exercise, presentation templates, speech outlines, breathing techniques, or access to a feedback group. Each bonus solves a specific problem. Each one increases perceived value. This is why successful offers often include multiple components, not because businesses want to overwhelm customers, but because every additional element answers another objection. I don't have enough time. Here's a quick start guide. I'm afraid I'll get stuck. Here's unlimited email support. I've never done this before. Here's a beginner-friendly roadmap. What if it doesn't work? Here's a money-back guarantee. One by one, uncertainty disappears. Eventually, the customer reaches a point where saying no becomes difficult, not because they were pressured, but because the offer genuinely feels too valuable to ignore. Hormozi also introduces an important mindset shift. Don't think like a salesperson. Think like a problem solver. Salespeople focus on closing deals. Problem solvers focus on improving lives. Ironically, the second approach usually produces far more sales. When your mission becomes helping people achieve meaningful results, marketing starts feeling natural. Customers notice the difference, trust grows, referrals increase, and your reputation becomes one of your greatest business assets. This is why the best entrepreneurs spend less time asking, "How do I convince people to buy?" and much more time asking, "How can I make my customers' success almost inevitable?" Because when your customers win, your business wins too. And that's the foundation of every truly irresistible offer. Zoo. How do you actually build an offer that people feel excited to buy? Hormozi suggests thinking like an architect. Before you build a house, you don't start laying bricks at random. You first design the blueprint. The same applies to your business. Before deciding what to include in your offer, start by defining one thing with absolute clarity. What is the final transformation your customer wants? Not what you want to sell, not what you're good at, what your customer truly wants. Let's say you're a business coach. Your customer doesn't want more Zoom meetings. They don't want another online course. They don't even want business advice. They want a profitable business that gives them financial freedom. Everything you include in your offer should help them move closer to that goal. Once you've defined the destination, work backward. Ask yourself, what could prevent my customer from getting there? This question is incredibly powerful because it forces you to think from your customer's perspective instead of your own. Maybe they lack knowledge. Maybe they lack confidence. Maybe they procrastinate. Maybe they don't have enough time. Maybe they're afraid of making expensive mistakes. Every obstacle you identify becomes another opportunity to increase the value of your offer. Now imagine you're creating a course about starting a YouTube channel. A basic course might simply explain how YouTube works. But an irresistible offer goes much further. It includes a step-by-step launch plan, video title templates, thumbnail design guides, AI prompts for script writing, a content calendar, editing tutorials, a private community for feedback, weekly live Q&A sessions, monetization strategies, brand partnership advice, growth analytics. Suddenly, your customer isn't buying information. They're buying an entire success system. That's the difference. The product becomes only one part of a much larger solution. Another lesson Hormozi emphasizes is that people don't always need more information. They need more implementation. Think about fitness. Almost everyone already knows the basics. Eat healthier, exercise regularly, sleep well, drink enough water. The problem isn't information, it's execution. The same is true in business. Many entrepreneurs already know what they should do. They simply don't do it consistently. That's why accountability can become one of the most valuable parts of an offer. Sometimes a weekly check-in is worth more than 10 extra hours of video lessons. Sometimes a supportive community creates better results than another ebook. Sometimes one conversation with an expert saves months of frustration. Great offers don't overwhelm customers with content. They help customers achieve results, and results are what create testimonials. Testimonials create trust. Trust creates sales. Sales create growth. It's a cycle that reinforces itself over time. Hormozi also warns entrepreneurs about a common mistake. They try to make their offer attractive by adding random bonuses. More isn't always better. Imagine buying a laptop. One company offers you 10 unrelated bonuses: wallpapers, games, music downloads, and discount coupons. Another company includes a premium carrying case, an extended warranty, free technical support, cloud storage, and a setup session that helps you transfer all your files. Which offer feels more valuable? Probably the second one. Not because it includes more bonuses, but because every bonus is directly connected to the customer's success. Every element has a purpose. That's exactly how you should build your own offers. Every addition should remove friction, increase confidence, or help customers achieve their desired outcome faster. When you do that, customers stop asking, "Why is this so expensive?" Instead, they begin asking, "How can they offer all of this at this price?" And that's the moment you know you've created something special. Because the ultimate goal isn't to make your offer look expensive. It's to make it feel incredibly valuable. That's what allows businesses to charge premium prices while leaving customers genuinely happy with their decision. And once you understand this principle, you'll realize something that changes the way you see entrepreneurship forever. The businesses that earn the most money aren't necessarily the ones with the best products. They're the ones that solve the biggest problems in the most complete, simplest, and most valuable way possible. Here's something fascinating. If you study the world's most successful companies, you'll notice they all have one thing in common. They don't obsess over selling. They obsess over creating value. Amazon didn't become one of the largest companies in the world because it had the cheapest products. It became successful because it made shopping easier than ever before. Netflix didn't simply give people movies. It eliminated late fees, long drives to the video store, and endless inconvenience. Uber didn't invent transportation. It removed uncertainty. No more wondering when your taxi would arrive. No more searching for cash. No more standing on the sidewalk hoping someone would stop. The companies that dominate markets don't always invent something new. More often than not, they remove friction better than everyone else. That's exactly the mindset Hormozi wants entrepreneurs to adopt. Instead of asking, "What else can I sell?" ask, "What else can I solve?" Every inconvenience your customer experiences is an opportunity. Every frustration is an opportunity. Every fear is an opportunity. Businesses that become million-dollar companies are usually the ones that identify these opportunities before anyone else does. But there's another lesson that might be even more important. Many entrepreneurs believe they need thousands of customers to become wealthy. Hormozi disagrees. You don't necessarily need more customers. You need a better offer. Think about the math. Imagine business A sells a $50 product to 10,000 customers. It generates $500,000 in revenue. Now imagine business B sells a $5,000 premium solution to just 100 customers. It generates exactly the same revenue. The second business serves far fewer people. It has fewer customer support requests, less operational complexity, smaller marketing costs, yet it earns the same amount of money. That's why Hormozi encourages entrepreneurs to stop thinking only about volume. Instead, focus on increasing the value of every customer relationship. A customer who achieves incredible results often returns. They buy additional products. They recommend friends. They leave positive reviews. One satisfied customer can become worth far more than the first purchase alone. This is why long-term thinking matters so much. Too many businesses chase the next sale. Great businesses build trust, and trust compounds over time. Every promise you keep strengthens your reputation. Every happy customer becomes another piece of proof. Every success story makes the next sale easier than the previous one. Eventually, your reputation begins selling for you. People arrive already convinced. That's one of the most powerful competitive advantages any business can have. Before we finish, let's summarize the biggest lessons from 100M offers. First, stop competing on price. Compete on value. Second, remember that customers don't buy products. They buy transformations. Third, increase the dream outcome. Increase certainty. Reduce the time required to achieve results. Reduce the effort needed along the way. Fourth, identify every obstacle your customer might face and build solutions before those problems appear. Finally, never stop asking yourself one simple question: how can I make this offer so valuable that saying no becomes the harder decision? Because that's exactly how extraordinary businesses are built. At the end of the day, Entrepreneurship isn't about convincing people to spend money. It's about creating something that genuinely improves their lives. When you focus on delivering exceptional value, sales stop feeling like persuasion. They become the natural result of solving meaningful problems. That's the real message behind $100 offers. Your product may attract attention. Your marketing may generate interest, but it's your offer that ultimately determines whether people buy or walk away. Master this one skill, and you'll possess an advantage that can benefit you for the rest of your career. If you enjoyed this summary and learned something valuable, subscribe for more book summaries on business, wealth, psychology, and personal growth. Every week, we break down the world's best books into practical lessons you can start applying immediately. Thanks for watching, and remember, the businesses that create the most value are usually the ones that create the most wealth. See you in the next video.